I think Salah had to make this move because this defense is still in the elite status this season for the New York Jets. And I think this defense is going to be able to keep the team in the game against the Chicago Bears this week. I mean, he really chapped the ass of a lot of people in that locker room when, he flat out said no. He wasn't, holding back the offense, and that's why, they let the defense down. He just flat out said no, and that's probably the most tone deaf thing I've ever heard from a quarterback at the podium. I don't think it's like the end of his career here, in the NFL. I'm not ready to say that yet. I definitely think this is Saleh trying to have a teachable moment with this team, especially considering like Jay, they're not out of the playoff hunt by any stretch of the imagination. So if they can get any semblance of like decent quarterback play to like quasi game manager type of deal and let the defense and the running game take care of the rest, like they're still going to be alive and well for a playoff spot, in my opinion. With all that being said, like, I'm going to be the psycho here that thinks the Jets win this game just because of how good this defense is. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to rise to the occasion with Mike White because we did see him provide a spark last year when he had those 2 spot starts where, he went toe-to-toe with the Bengals and won. And then he was going up against the Colts and got hurt. And up until that point, I think they were going to win that game outright.
Well, he started out hot, remember? He went right down the field, got a touchdown. Then the next drive is when he hurt his elbow.
Yep. So I think they're going to be alive and well in this. And there's just so many questions with Justin Fields. I mean, it sounded like he pretty much separated his shoulder against the Falcons last week. They're saying all the right things, leaving the door open for him to start. If he doesn't start, I believe Trevor Siemian is the next quarterback up on that depth chart. The line in this game, it was 4.5 yesterday when like more injury news came out late yesterday and earlier today. That line ballooned from Jets -4.5 to Jets -6. If he's flat out ruled out, I would not be surprised if this Jets line went to like double digits because of how much the drop off is at the quarterback play. So if you like the Jets, you better jump on it now because it's probably going to keep going up. But I got the Jets as one of my best bets. I have the Jets winning outright. And if Mike White handles his business, this might be more than just a one start. Oh, yeah. I think they could string some things together and go from there.
I think Mike White's going to blow him out of this thing. Like, I think he's going to come in hot. I like Mike White a lot. The guy has something to him. So, but then again, like, that's just part of the story. Like, the bigger thing here is Zach Wilson. And I want to hit on this real quick before you move on. Like, I just think he just lacks like empathy, man. Like, you can just see the way he talks, the way he walks. He really does not have any like awareness of who he is as a person. And I know like last year he got hurt, and obviously they extended his like time off the field when he was ready to come back, and they had the guys in disguise of he's still hurt. But Albert Breer was on Boston radio today talking about how what people don't really know is they brought in his throwing coach during that time to work with them because he had the yips at that time. He was like missing people wide open in practice, like even passes to the flat in practice he was missing, and they're like, oh crap, this is not just the injury anymore. We gotta work on him again. So in that sense, he had a guy brought in, sat him down, basically worked on his fundamentals, and now the same thing is happening this year, and that's twice in 2 years. This guy is just so fundamentally wrong that he's had to be essentially benched or sat down, right? So I think that, coupled with the fact that this guy is just a complete moron when it comes to his personal, character, his intangibles, his leadership, all that stuff. Like, I think this might be the last we've seen of Zach Wilson. And the key for me was his senior year or his last year at BYU, he wasn't named captain. Like, do you understand how hard that is in college football, where especially at BYU at 7 captains, you couldn't be named captain? Like, for me, there's a lot missing there with Zach Wilson unless he does a complete 180 of who he's been for the first 23 years of his life. He's not going to change. People don't change over time. They just reveal who they are.
Mm-hmm. Jay, I know that it's been beaten like a dead horse and how bad that offense was on Sunday, but like I feel like the throw that encapsulated everything was, I think he was trying to do a wide receiver screen to Braxton Berrios.
Right over his head, yep.
And Jay, there was like not a defender within 5 yards of Berrios or Zach Wilson, and he just completely airmailed it. And I looked at that and I was like, I mean, my stepson could throw the ball better. Like
Well,
that's there's no excuse.
Well, that throw is a get the ball out of your hand immediately, quick timing throw.
Yep.
Usually, when you have those throws, you've got to take that extra second to set your feet. This kid doesn't understand that the fundamentals of football and throwing a football from the pocket with velocity comes from your feet. Like, I get it. He has a big arm. Trust me, I get it. His arm is probably the best out of the 2021 class, which is how powerfully he can throw the football. The problem is he constantly sails the ball high because he's not setting his feet. Like, how much more can we like beat that overhead? And it's been 18 games now. It's been a year and a half. Like, when are we going to see progress? And here's one thing, Puma. It'd be one thing if he showed progress. That's fine. That's great. That's what you want. It'd be another thing if he stayed steady. It's nothing what he's doing now. He's getting worse. He's like regressing to a horrible level.